So we clarify and we have the Ace of Swords. So typically I love this card, but you know, to each his own. Not everybody likes this card, but I'm a huge fan of I want the whole truth and nothing but. And not everybody agrees. Not everybody wants the whole truth. I want it to be given to me straight. I'd rather it, yeah, it might sting a little bit, but you know what? It stings a little, but in the long run, if you find out, especially through other sources, oh, that's way more painful. At least in my own experience, I would rather know up front. Give it to me straight, you know. Let me know what I'm working with. Because I would rather feel a little hurt than to feel a lot more hurt later on. Especially if I got to find out from another source. But okay, again, you know, the Ace of Swords. I love this sword because this sword is like, it's literally truth penetrating. This sword will slice through any bullshit. Excuse my French, but you know, it will get to the truth of the matter. Now, the Ace of Swords is definitely indicating that you've been given a new start. You know, we have two aces here, the Ace of Cups reversed and now the Ace of Swords. But maybe you're coming on too strong, too forcefully, especially if the other person is the one who is insecure and not as open. You know, maybe they've been hurt a lot. So it's going to take a while to get them to open up and trust. You know, but with the Ace of Swords, you know, this energy can be very forceful. And so, yeah, it's a possibility that someone is being overly pushy. And not that they mean to be, you know, because they probably don't realize that it's affecting you, you know, the way that it has. Or maybe you might be overly forceful and pushy and you don't realize the effect that it's having on the other person. Again, you know, you could be on either end of this. So, but it is a new start, but you do need to take care to not push. Because if you continue to push, you can actually, well, essentially you could push the person away. And you do have to remember this is a sword, so it can cut both ways. So you do not want to be overly forceful, as you could literally cut yourself as well. And, well, you know, that's going to hurt. So, or maybe some of you are trying to force a new start. You know, sometimes the Ace of Cups in reverse can indicate that you might be a bit fearful about starting over in a relationship. So, you know, that could be quite symbolic of, you know, a relationship that you've been in and perhaps things were not working out as they were. And maybe things have been very, very rocky in this existing relationship. And there is a need to start over. And it is possible to start over and maintain the relationship as long as both parties are on board with it, you know. But let's make sure that we're not being too forceful about it. So that'll resonate with those that it's supposed to. Okay. Also, you know, this could also be indicating that, especially if you're not in a relationship, that you might have a great desire for something or someone new. But under this particular type of energy, it's something that's not working out, so to speak. But, you know, for those of you who are not in a relationship, you could just be, you know, tired. You're just ready. You're bored. You're ready for something new or someone new, you know. You know, this could be maybe you want to have someone to be in a romantic relationship with, or maybe you want a friend, you know, maybe you want a platonic type of relationship. It can go either way, you know. I like to throw many different things out here because, again, you know, Not all Pisces sun, moon, and rising signs are the same. You know, you all want different things. Yes, you guys have certain traits and similarities, but we're all on our own path or on our own journey, and we all want different things and different people and different experiences, and that's okay, you know? But, if you're battling insecurity, try to be careful. I mean, just, you know, try to do your best to open your heart and trust, or not. It's totally up to you. I mean, I always want to remind you guys to do what you know is the absolute best for you. Regardless of what I say or any other reader says, you must do what you know is right for you at the end of the day. Okay? And only you know what that is. So, always remember that. Like I said, doesn't matter who the reader is, just remember that. Only you know what's best for you in your life. Okay, so this position is your near future. So we have the Queen of Cups. Typically, I classify her as Scorpio, but again, this could be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Now, this could actually be someone that you will physically deal with, or this could just be symbolic of your channeling this particular queen's energy. Okay? So she could be an actual person in your life. And also, let me just clarify quickly. This does not have to necessarily be a woman. And that can be confusing for some people. You see king, you see queens, you see knights. So, sometimes we think, okay, well, automatically it's got to be a woman if we see queen. No, not necessarily. Queens are definitely noted for their nurturing abilities. Well, not so much the Queen of Swords, but but typically the queens are like our mothers, they're our nurturers. But, in this day and age, the way things that are, the way they are now, we have same-sex marriage here in America, and sometimes if you have two dads, say one of the dads could potentially be more of a nurturer, so sometimes we get our nurturing from, the other gender. Not trying to offend anyone, I'm definitely all about, you have the right to love whoever you want, whether people disagree with me or not, that's fine. But I feel that everyone has the right to choose who they love, regardless of gender. Okay, I'm not trying to make this political. Moving on. Okay, so the Queen of Cups, she has a tendency to make her decisions based off of her intuitions and her feelings rather than using her intellect. Okay. Now, she could potentially be representing your mother or the person you receive nurturing from. This could also be indicating perhaps a person that will be coming into your life in the near future that could have some qualities of this king. They would be very emotional. They would tend to think with their emotions and their intuitions rather than their intellect. But they would very much be a nurturer and someone who likes to encourage growth and development in others, especially on emotional level. Could even be a counselor for some of you. Now, we clarify, we get the Three of Coins. Funny, this is the Mars and Capricorn card, which Mars is currently in the sign of Capricorn. Now, the Three of Coins is about working as a team. You're learning a skill, and learning this skill requires you to be on a team, essentially. So, Some of you could actually be learning a new skill. Some of you could have recently taken up, some classes, some courses on a particular skill set. Perhaps some of you have decided to change paths that you've been on. Maybe you already have a set skill set that you did quite well with, but perhaps maybe it wasn't fulfilling and maybe you decided you wanted to learn a new skill. Maybe some of you are considering being a counselor, a therapist, a teacher. Possibilities. Now, this is also about working as a team. So, we have to collaborate with others, work together. Sometimes this can indicate working at a business that actually has a union. Yes. And this card can also indicate that there could be some recognition, but it would be recognition as a team, as opposed to, personal recognition. But overall, this is about learning a skill. So some of you could potentially be considering going to school. Some of you could already be taking some classes, or you might in the near future. Maybe some of you have already thought about this. Maybe some of you are already doing this, okay? And maybe this Queen of Cups could come in and potentially help you. Okay, so this would be the Attitude card. Now we have the Page of Wands. So this is definitely focused on receiving messages. And these messages tend to have something to do with creative endeavors, projects. They can also be messages of a financial nature. So perhaps you may be waiting on a message that has to do with a job. Quite possibly. But since it's in the upright position, it would definitely be good news. So that is a plus. And then we clarify and we have the Six of Wands. This is really good. So this is a card of victory, essentially. This is one who works very hard, very tirelessly in order to achieve a goal or a dream, and you do it and you emerge victorious. I mean, look at him. He's like, look at me. Yeah, I did it. I did it. So you guys might just be feeling pretty victorious. I'm liking that. Love it. Okay, this is how other people would see you. Now we have the Two of Coins in the reverse position. So this would definitely be indicating that you could be receiving some disappointing news on the financial front. This is a strong possibility. Now, this can also be speaking of maybe you're trying to do too much at once. A lot of times when this card comes up in the reverse position like this, it's indicating that we have too many irons in the fire. Just like this man, we are sitting here trying to juggle so many different things. And while you might have the stamina to keep it up for a little while, we can't stay there forever and continue to juggle like this. So eventually we're going to have to put one of these pentacles down. And so this can definitely be pointing to we need to not be trying to take on too many things. We may need to pick one thing so that we can apply more focus and so that we can actually do a better job at it. For instance, this, maybe you have two jobs. This is possible for some of you. Maybe you have two jobs. Maybe at both jobs you're not able to do the work to the best of your ability, because maybe you're tired from working 2 jobs. Now, I can almost hear some of you, well, I'm financially strapped. I get it. I absolutely get it. But sometimes we're just not able to handle both, whether we want to realize it or not, you know? So obviously, we would want to, if we have to drop a pinnacle here, we want to go after what is the most stable, what is the most structured, which, one is more going to be more fulfilling, that's going to be more rewarding in the long run. If it's about a job, what's going to provide you with benefits, what's going to potentially provide you with a retirement plan. So if it's about a job, you definitely want to pick the job that, is better suited to you and has the better, perks and benefits and whatnot. But, this is definitely indicating that you're trying to take on too much and that you're going to have to put one of those down. Now, this could also be indicating that perhaps maybe you're juggling some finances, so to speak. Maybe you're having a hard time making ends meet, and, maybe you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So, again, this would be where you may need to choose, which things are going to get paid this month and, what's going to have to wait. So, and also, again, sometimes some disappointing news can come our way. Oh, but here's a bright point. So it's clarified by the sun, which we had right up here. So maybe you guys have taken on a little too much because you're so full of optimism. Maybe things have been going pretty great. Maybe you've been feeling pretty, really good. You've been feeling really optimistic. And, maybe it gave you that extra energy or that extra push to, take on another job or whatever it may be. Whatever it is, it's definitely of a financial nature. But the sun, this is also a very optimistic card, so, but I just want to make sure that you guys don't deceive yourselves, I'm loving the attitude that you guys are definitely having this month. I mean, love it, love it, love it. I love the fact that you guys are very optimistic. This makes me very, very happy for you guys. It truly does. But I just want to make sure that you guys are not lying to yourself, The whole saying, not seeing the forest from the tree. So, we definitely want to be looking at the larger picture, the grand scheme of things, as opposed to focusing on one or two things right now. So I just want to make sure that, if we can prevent a failure of things working out, let's prevent it, Be realistic and honest with yourself, Can you really keep juggling all of these different things that you're juggling? You may need to pick. Just don't lose the optimism. Keep the optimism coming. I'm loving it. Okay, so this would be the category of hopes or fears. Now, I'm definitely going to classify this as a fear because I don't see any Pisces really wishing for this. I mean, maybe, but, I really doubt it. So, 10 of Cups, this is our happily ever after card, our contentment, our emotional joy and contentment card. But it's in the reverse position, so this is definitely indicating a lack of contentment, a lack of emotional contentment. This is not receiving our happily ever after. This is things are a mess in our home. Our family life is upset. Things are not going well. Things in the house are breaking. There could be structural problems with the house. A marriage could be falling apart. We could be at odds with our kids. I don't see any Pisces wishing for this, so I'm going to classify it as a fear. Okay, to clarify, we have the Queen of Wands in the reverse position. So I automatically look at the Queen of Wands in reverse, and she is the aggressive side of this queen when she is in the reverse position. When she's in the upright position, she is very, very dominant. She has a very commanding presence. Even when she doesn't want the attention, she can walk into a room and she will automatically grab the attention of others, even if she doesn't want it. She just has a very commanding presence. Now, when she's in the reverse position, she's definitely gone through a loss of some sort. And so this makes her react rather aggressively. Or one could say she's being a bit bossy, a bit pushy. Um, yeah, it's not the good side of her personality at all. So yeah, overly aggressive, you know. So I'm gonna classify this as fear, fear, and fear.